And it all comes down to this now. Ladies and gentlemen, the third map between Epsilon and Godsent to decide who moves forward into the upper bracket final and who goes down into the lower bracket here now of the bracket stage. What are our thoughts now as we go into this third and final map?
I'm really looking forward to it because the first two we've seen has been incredibly close, so we're probably going to see something in the likes of that here on the third one, and we're going to see two Swedish teams battle it out in the Mirage, which basically has been since the map was introduced, even back in its earlier stage before it got on the workshop thing, has been the home map for Sweden. So be ready to see a bunch of weird stuff, but also a bunch of stuff that's really going to work out well and look really flashy. That's at least what I'm looking forward to. And also I have to say, like, the guy in the middle for Epsilon right now, Barbar, has really been impressing me like in this tournament in general, in this last match as well. And right now he's just hyping up the guys. So also on a team level and on a motivation level, he's also doing good work. And he's one of the guys that I thought, okay, if he performs really well, that could be a huge factor for them. And in that last game, we saw that very much with the AWP.
And also, if I remember the schedule correctly, too, here another thing that may be up for these teams if we do the lower bracket match today between the losers of this one and the next one, is you also kind of get to go through today without having to worry about any more matches.
Yes, that is true.
If you drop this one, though, you gotta stick around and get ready to play another one just a little bit later on today. So you get a nice, relaxing day. If you win this map here, you get to go chill out, and more importantly, you get to sit back and watch your possible opponents for tomorrow get prepared while they still have to play their games.
Definitely. So that could be a huge factor as well going into the later games in this tournament playoff bracket. But right now we are looking to get into this last map in this best of three between Epsilon and Godsent. It's going to be the Mirage, of course.
Yeah, and it should be a pretty intense one, too. Obviously, still needing to see Pronax step up a little bit there. Yeah. You know, the whole, like, oh, he's the IGL thing. Since we saw pretty much everyone on Epsilon showing up to that last matchup, I don't really think that's excusable anymore. And not only this, too, but we saw him have some pretty good maps yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
I think he does have the potential to show up and frag a little bit. He had that really nice, like, 1v4 on the site that he pulled off. I think it was on Cobblestone yesterday. I forget who it was against. I think it was the LDLC guys that they were going up against. Remember that one properly. But with rounds like that, obviously, it's no excuse for him to not show up to these matches. They need him now. They need to bring all their strength. All 5 of the Godsent players need to show up, and they can't be relying on one of their guys magically popping up to the table at the end of the match like they have been with Lecro yesterday and with JW to a certain degree today too anymore. Those have been these little bit of not necessarily knit magic, but like Swedish magic effects that are coming in here. But obviously, it'll run out pretty quickly. And as we see now, we're getting into the maps. We should be getting started in a moment here, and it'll be time to begin.
So here we go, Epsilon on the CT side. Of course, the knife round. Yeah, that makes sense. This is the last and third map. We haven't seen any third maps so far. This is actually the first third map. That's why. So they're actually going to be knifing for sides, of course, because when you start on your opponent's map, you get to choose what side you want to start on. And since this being the third one, no one's map, we're going to see the knife round.
A lot of karambits.
A lot of karambits. A lot of virtual money.
Yeah, probably some really nice karambits, to be honest. Someone should just count up the value of the knives. I mean, JW and Flush are kind of ruining it with the default knives, but JW like sneaks in there. They don't realize it. So they're gonna find one kill. It's looking like Epsilon is bit of suspense. Epsilon are gonna be able to take control of the knife round unless
JW was the only one who actually got kills that round for his team. Everyone else just got slaughtered completely.
But with a map like Mirage too, you'll find that very important since it's still rather CT-sided in the way that it tends to play itself. So this is actually a big ticket for Epsilon to possibly take the lead early on, assuming they bring a strong CT side to the table, of course.
Yeah, so this is going to be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do in the pistol rounds, because we do have Godsent and Pronax, of course the in-game leader for Godsent, standing on that T side. So what are they going to bring to the table here? Pronax, 1 smoke, and 1 smoke on Electro, 2 flashbangs as well. So, okay, this is going to be interesting. 2 smokes available, 2 flashbangs, and armor on 3 guys. So those 3 guys are probably going to be the spearhead of that attack, while Electro and Pronax stays back a bit.
And we won't jump into it now, guys, with Godsent not even sending anyone out towards mid or anything. This is a direct play. 3 of them going into the Palace, 2 up to the T ramp. But Epsilon also have 3 in the general vicinity of this A site, too. They will be prepared for an A hit. So we need to see the pace that Godsent takes. If it's the appropriate matter, then they can overwhelm Epsilon very quickly. But if not, then These guys can get picked off one by one. Using those smokes good, though. It does block off steps and jungle access, but Calais can still see everything back from the ticket there. He's going to find one kill, dips away. There's actually a hole in the smoke. Freddy is going to be able to abuse that from halfway up the steps. JW finally moving in for some trades here. Finds the shot onto Calais, taking him out of the equation, but bringing this down to a 3-on-4. Epsilon still, as they have the rotators moving in, have the advantage for the retake, and that's where Barbar's going to be able to jump in and strike. Him and Rez find 2 more kills, and it's all on Lekr now. 1 kill, but that's the end of it. Rez finds the last one, and Epsilon will pick up the pistol.
And in a map where smokes are so important for your basically executions onto bomb sites, like Mirage is, you cannot afford gaps in smokes like that. Even though it's just a single kill, that single kill makes such a huge difference for Epsilon and their retake of this bomb site. And they will win the round out, and now buying up here. Godsent going to be, well, they have the money, so they might actually go for a pistol round here and then go for AKs in the next one.
We still see now the guys on Godsent investing a little bit into this second round here. Just Deagles for the most part in P250s. JW and Flusha finding the Deagles, with the rest taking it a little light to be able to save, as you mentioned previously here. Normally you would see like a smoke or something coming into this round too, and they would like try to overwhelm a site. Most teams you'd see do that, but actually no. So Godsent are even going to spread themselves out a bit too and try to play a little bit more advanced as they go for mid control early on here.
Oh, okay.
That didn't do any damage, I would think.
That was impressive. How little damage that did.
That did 2 damage and it was a headshot. How does that?
CSGO logic.
Yeah, apparently. So Schneider's going to get taken down as he tries to push things in here. JW, yeah, that's not going to fool anyone. Freddy B up on top of the platform, finding him, taking him down. Lekr testing his luck from the underpass too, but it seems like now Epsilon are going to clean things up pretty quickly, and they've just found Pronax.
Yeah, so he is pretty much has a death sentence written for him already. He can try and do something here, but it's not going to work out. So Epsilon, easy 2-0, not losing anyone in that, so economy is going to be great for them going into the next couple of rounds. Godsent, of course, as we mentioned earlier, are going to be able to buy AKs this round on the back of that bomb plant they got in the first one. So 5 AKs against, well, 2 M4s, FAMAS, and 2 UMPs. So we know who has the weapons advantage in this one, but the utility advantage still lies with the CTs.
Again, it'll be Epsilon here, still going for the default split 2 onto these rounds. Actually, Draken, after they initially split up here, gets a bit more aggressive. He's going to try to knock some of these guys out over here top mid, and they're not looking for that at all, which is a big mistake on rounds like this. Quickly traded by Lekr, at least going 1-for-1, but JW now finds the entry into the B side, and this is where things get dangerous, because they can't send the rest of the team over here. But currently, they're all very spread out. I mean, he's got B control, but he's low HP, and the bomb was nowhere near him. It's still sitting on the ground with no one holding it. And now, Barbar's taking down Snyder, so what exactly are Godsent going to do here?
Yeah, Snyder was on the opposite side of basically where the boss was trying to make his way out through A apartments, but that did not work out. Luckily for Godsent, JW answers back with a frag, and it's now going to be a 2v2 situation right now. JW with 17 HP, and Lekr with 40.
Both of them are placed the focus on the A-bomb site currently. So thankfully for Godsent, JW's entry earlier is still going to hold full effectiveness. But here's the kicker, where Rez could just flank it and take them both down as he's pushing himself up the steps now and around the corner here. He's not actually going to be able to get the opportunity to find either of them, as they just barely avoid his grasp. And in the meantime, Freddy B pushing into Palace too. If Rez gets knocked out right at the start, then I doubt really we're going to be able to see Freddy B do anything. But thankfully that's not the case. Rez finding that first kill. Gets dinked again, but it does like no. What is up with these headshots? Doing no damage. That time I kind of get it because it's through the wall. I assume the last one was too, but still, it only brings him down to 85 HP. We are going to see Rez finding that last kill there. Takes out JW, and we will see Epsilon come out on top with their third round.
Good job by Epsilon. Really, really well played in that last 2v2. Basically, technically, they took 2 different 1v1s, but they were managed to basically hold it out. I love the fact that the slow playing B apartment is just walking in there. The exact second he sees the body of the terrorist planting, he gets that kill and just holds back and plays defensively in that last because they had that 2v1.
And off of that now, Godsent, unfortunately dropping that one, have to go into another Deagle round. It's going to be the Deco here, as it appears. GW and Lekr are investing in armor, but the rest, unfortunately, cannot pony up with much else here. Now it's just going to be Draken waiting for more than a push out in the mid, and actually a shot initially connects on a Draken, but he respawns in kind, and also these nades too. Just ripping these guys apart. Lekr even getting a little bit of heat from the Molotov there, down to 48 HP. not looking so good currently for Godsent there.
Pronax with the Deagle as well, just having a chance of getting something done here. But of course, Epsilon, once again, playing it smart, using their grenades, just holding them off, and then just playing defensive position so they won't get into the crosshairs of those Deagles and take a chance. Just playing the defensive positions. Really liking this from Calais, just holding down the angle.
We can see, again, Godsent keeping it so... This is like such a different pace from Godsent too, keeping it so quiet across the map here. Normally it's actually been Epsilon that's kind of been the first point of contact here. They've been the ones to engage, and then at the last second, it seems, Godsent do try to explode out onto these bomb sites, but currently it's not really working. Obviously, with these first 3 rounds going by the way of Epsilon, we yet to see that really evolve, however, as only 3 rounds have perfectly played out. But problem is yeah, they know this one's coming. That's a good shot from Lekro, though, the trade, but there's still 2 more to take care of on the site, and well, 2 of them is lined right up for Rez. He's going to grab both of them and Flusha to close out the round there. Nice 3K from him, and a 4-0 start now for Epsilon. Still yet to see Godsent with a round on the board.
Yeah, and as we talked about after that second map, and as the Desk talked about as well, the 2 top performers in that second map was Rez and was Drake. And in this one as well, we see them splitting the 5 kills between them and just taking that round home for Epsilon. And as you say, 4-0 lead. And we do finally see Godsent with a full buy with full utility.
Now again, Godsent setting their players much quicker out of the sights this time. It's Pronax, but he's got no players behind him. I didn't see a flashbang or anything.
No.
Just walks right out, and Barbar says, hey.
And he's done that a couple of times throughout this best of 3 now. Just putting down a smoke, or since he's put down a smoke, he just runs through the smoke all alone with no backup at all, and instantly dies. Some of the times he actually dropped the bomb as well. This did not happen this time around, but Pronax, usually in my book, I've written him down as a very smart player, and that is not a move that smart players do.
No, I generally wouldn't define that one there. So maybe hoping he can get himself an entry or just some intel or something, but definitely not a good day so far for Pronax here, as we can see. The rest of the team, though, pushing themselves into the B-bomb site. Calais sitting around the corner here, but he actually is going to get mollied back to a safer position. They can hear him walking around over there. He's not being quiet about it.
However, Rez is there as well.
The jump comes in, and Rez, again, shutting these guys down from outside of the apartments, just completely controlling that too. And he's been playing this position so far the entire game, and he's been doing a fantastic job at it. Finally, Flusha trades it back down, but it's going to very quickly be taken out, anyway, by Draken there, as he gets the final kill of the round. Rez with another big hold there outside of the apartments as he racks up another 3K.
Yeah, it must be nice being an Epsilon player when you're on the complete opposite bomb side and everybody just, oh yeah, Rez got 1, 2, 3. Okay, we win the round. No worries. On the other side, it must be hard being on that Godsent lineup right now. Snyder and Pronax both without a single frag in these first 5 rounds.
Rez right now is just dominating the scoreboard there, as you can see. He's got a nice big tall graph. I like graphs.
Graphs, man.
We need more graphs in CSGO. It'd be cool if we had like pie graphs for stuff like that. You know, like how many times did this team go to the site? Just
and if you look at like traditional sports, there's a lot of like graphical use of stats.
I like stats and math and all that stuff. It's fun.
Nice.
So everybody's like,
you and Peter.
Everybody in chat's probably like, this is so goddamn boring.
You and Peter should sit down one day and just talk, because that man is the stats lover of all time. He is the stats guru.
Well, they are going to Epsilon lose one of their players early on here. Draken tries to make a play, and it doesn't really play out that well for them, as he ends up getting knocked out there pretty early on. But again, Godsent keeping with this very, very slow-paced style. Thankfully, on this round, for the first time so far, it's actually worked for them. Picking up 2 kills at mid. JW, of course, chiming in for both of them. Now, however, it's time to get onto a site, and this is where the problem has lied for the last 5 rounds so far.
So Rez, once again, can he make it happen? In those B apartments, just trying to control whenever the push comes in. He's in the perfect position, but looks away, but still gets a frag. And one of these T's is low also, so he can technically get a second frag. He will! Not a third, though.
Rez, nicely done in defending it again. Unfortunately, after he goes down, the rest of the dominoes do fall for Epsilon, and that will net us the first round for Godsent there. JW picking up 3 kills on the round, and he's one of the few reasons why they actually find that one, since they clear out mid. The defenses are so weak, so there's no possibility of a retake, as it just becomes the last battle there for the B-bomb site. And although Rez tries his best to hold on to it, Unfortunately, he cannot pull off everything there, but he's been doing a fantastic job of, at the very least, making an impact on every single round that Godsent try to pressure the apartments there.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's on average on 2 or 3 kills per round so far. But here we go. Draken with the AWP, also one of the top performers, and does miss that shot. Very close by, and will bring himself onto the stairs position. Actually connected now.
Rest of Godsent here, however, primed to engage onto the A-bomb site. And this is the first time we've seen them actually deploy, but since the pistol, I think, really just into a direct strap this time. And I think Freddie B is going to be a little bit surprised by it. He's stuck underneath. He's going to be a dead man regardless of how many players he trades out. There's no escaping that with the pending push into that bomb site there. A bit unfortunate that he's caught in that position, but he gets the signal out early, and Godsent are a bit hesitant to take control. Pronax waiting in the mid cubby, though, paying attention for players on cap, but he finds Kale trying to push his way out of the middle area there. And now Draken not affected by this flashbang. A second one not hitting him either. He may be able to catch a guy trying to jump over the sandwich area there, but Barbar knocking him out. Godsent, even though they got these kills so early, they left enough time for the rotate. So now, while they were trying to push it initially, they can't really do it anymore. They're still held back in ramp, and they've lost their opportunity, so they've got to give this up and either redeploy in a couple of seconds here or try to wrap towards B.
This is not the first time that we've seen Godsent being so slow moving into a bomb site that the CTF have been allowed to rotate all the remaining players towards their position. So this is something that Godsent needs to work on if they win this one, and they have time to think about, okay, what went wrong in this one, what can we do better for the next game in the tournament. But Draken once again just showing that he is on the server also, and he's looking to continue his great strides from the map before.
And they move themselves, specifically Schneider, out towards mid here. Draken unscoping at actually just the wrong time as that player was pushing out. But Barbar catching Schneider in the flames. He goes down to the ground. 7 seconds left. Flusha, how the hell has he gotten this close up without being seen? But, okay, he's not going to plant, so what's he going to do? Apparently he's going to get 2 kills there. Finding the impact, not finding the plant. But obviously Draken way too far detached from the situation to be able to actually cake him down there. So, Flusha, at the very least, finds himself a couple of kills there, keeps the money low for the CT side, but no plant, and it'll just be another round for Epsilon.
So here we go. 6-1 is the scoreline right now. We do see the Corsi buy coming out for Godsent. They're going to have 3 AKs and 2 Deagles, and Lekra even with that armor. So it's going to be a hard one for them to win. On the other side, we do have Epsilon with pretty much everything they need. Res is lacking a bit in utility, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Epsilon are going to be looking good off of that one, of course. They lose quite a few of their players there at the end of it. But Freddy sneaking up, he's going to play it aggressively. Smoke's in the way, though, so not really going to allow him to see the possibility of Flusher wrapping on the corner, and he's fallen back regardless. Godsent, so preserved. I mean, at the beginning of this match, we saw they weren't really afraid to get up to the entry point of the sites itself, like pushing the back alleys and whatnot, but now all of a sudden they don't even really want to go beyond that. They're just stuck here, and they're hoping that someone from Epsilon gets aggressive and pushes into them, but even as we hark back to like the first map, that hasn't really been the style that they've employed. They may do it with like 1 or 2 players, but they won't send their whole team out into the open there.
So here we go. Godsent still spread out across the map. AK here on Snyder, hoping to find Freddie B sometime in the near future. Sees him. That's step 1. And nades him as well. And they trade. That's a beautiful trade between those 2 players. Snyder will get the nade in the end, and JW with the deagle. It's going to start the rotation.
Lekra just playing with Barbar here. Barbar still wins the encounter, however. He's going to be able to knock him out. The rest of them pushing in. I'm not sure if he's read that there's a player in sandwich, and regardless, he's going to go for the reload. Ducking behind steps, though, and Flusha, one of the confidence to push into that. No one's cleared ticket, so Draken gets the 1 kill, jumps up onto the box, gets a second, and now it's just Flusha sitting in the backside. Again, the time is very low. And Flush doesn't even have full control right now, so this may be another situation where he just can't find the plan. He's going to try to get as much impact as possible. The first kill for him, but down at 10 HP, and Draken is going to finish the job. A 3K on the round. Epsilon find their 7th round, and a tactical pause, I would assume, comes in from Godsent.
Yeah, definitely. They need something else right now. This is not working out for them at all. But it's mainly due to the fact that we have 3 players now on that Epsilon lineup really doing good fragging and really playing well in all these situations. Of course, Res, as we talked about, Draken also stepped up with the AWP, but most importantly, in my opinion, Barbar is still just getting frags left, right, and center. So he's kind of this third mad fragger going on right now for Epsilon.
I mean, the key thing is that there is a consistent player on either bomb site they push into that they're not stopping. Over at the B bomb site, when they try to push into apartments, it's Rez, and when they try to push in over onto the A bomb site, we're seeing some great stuff from Barbar, along with Draken holding the op too. It's really 2 players over on that A bomb site.
Yeah.
And I would say the obvious route to try and change this would be to try and move over towards mid, get control there, using smokes and whatnot, and then obviously pushing up towards Cat so that they can try to catch. I believe the Rez off guard a little bit. The problem is Rez has been so dynamic with his positioning and stopping those apartment pushes that I feel like he would do fine in actually trying to stop the hits from there too.
Yeah. But the fun part is that Godsent usually, when they play Mirage, they play a lot for mid control, and they have just not done that so far in this game, and that's really baffling to me because they usually work mid very well on that team, but right now it's just not happening.
So with that, obviously, again, we go into our next round here, and that pause from Godsent, we won't really see the results of it, of course, until the 10th round here, as this is a full save from these guys. Just Glocks for pretty much all of them, except for Flush, who buys into a P250. And they're actually spreading out quite heavily across the map right now. Flush looking for his first shots back on ramp there, and actually Freddy's just going to chase him. And he goes. First pickup for him. He didn't catch, however. Oh, that must suck. Schneider is like, oh no, I've tricked you. And then wrecked anyway.
Dead, of course. So here we go. Calais picking up one more, and this is looking, well, not good, to say the least, for Godsent. They will get completely eliminated, but then again, it was an eco. We do see the effect, as you said, of that pause coming in now. They have something planned. They should have something planned, and surely Pronax is putting his hand into the big bag of Pronax tricks he has lying on the floor, and hopefully he pulls out something extraordinary.
So off of that one now, Godsent, let's hope that we see some prowess, but I mean, we talk a lot about the individual fragging power that this team brings to the table, and that's one of their few at the moment strengths. But at the moment, we're just not seeing that from anyone.
Yeah, definitely not. It's almost the other way around.
We can see Draken again. Look at it. Just push it up. Like, there's not even anything fantastic about this. Walks up. Spins around with the 180 and he shuts down JW. What are these guys doing? Draken's in like a DM right now. Just out mid, killing everyone. Flusha, Pronax, JW, all getting knocked out by him. It's down to Schneider and Lekro to make something happen. But even they're split up across the map, and Calais, while he's waiting for it, he's just going to get the jump kills on the Lekro.
This is just like Godsent are looking so demoralized right now. There's just nothing that they can do that works. And even though they have a shot in the back of Draken, he still gets the kill done with that 180, and Freddy B in the end shotting it down as well. So lose one player, and that's all that Godsent get for that timeout and for that huge investment.
This kid absolutely wrecked in mid. And it looks like they, again, had the right idea to it, strategically speaking, going for that mid control one up, and then Draken just decides he's going to push up mid with an op and get 2 kills.
To quote Paul Radar Challenger, brutal, savage, wrecked.
Essentially, yeah. And then we even see this too. He's caught unawares, doesn't have his gun out, spins around, deploys the gun anyway, and shuts down JW. So that's just dirty. That should never happen in a million years there, having that much effectiveness against full gun power. So great stuff from Draken. And it seems like Epsilon are absolutely on fire right now for a map that should have been extremely competitive. Godsent have clearly, at the moment at least, not brought their A game. They're going to try to push 1 or 2 players here inside, but that is just a direct blind push, it seems, from Lekro, and that'll be easy to handle.
It's very close to a couple of CCs, and he throws out the flashbang at the complete wrong time. But luckily for him, Res is there, and we know Res is on point right now.
That's finding that first kill there. Freddy B shutting down some of the extra aggression back in connector. Let's see what Pronax can do so far, as he snuck in here. He's gotten a lot of ground for free, wrapping it around. He's got the advanced angle on one of those players to take out Freddy. Picks it up, has the AK in hand too, but very quickly traded out. And I believe they heard JW jumping out of the connector, so they should know he's here. He's got an AK on the ground to work with, but he's been pinned. And before he can even find himself an angle to play off of, Barbar will push out of the jungle, find that last kill, and get Epsilon here into double digits.
It's hard to find any positives for Godsent right now. It's hard for me to say, okay, at least this is working out for them, because nothing really is working out for them. Maybe you could say that the sneaky plays, and sometimes they do get the revenge tracks in very nicely, but still they're behind 1 to 10. It's such a weird thing to see players of this caliber playing on this level.
I mean, they got the money low on some players, like you mentioned, because they're all right at trading.
Yeah.
But without a capability to actually consistently close that round, that doesn't mean anything at all.
Exactly.
Epsilon are still enough to buy back into this, and they're going to be able to trade. Now, though, they're getting aggressive, and this is where I think Godsent can punish. Freddy B pushing into the palace there is going to meet his end, and while Schneider's still in that same corner, he should have been able to see the smoke, but I don't think he expects Barbar at all. He's got a nade out right now. Barbar wrapping around. He's not even going for it. He's holding the angle here in a moment. I think he wants the knife. We'll see in a second. Oh, he's got the angle. No, he's got. He still gets it though. That's gone wrong so many times. But Flusha, good for him at least, is waiting outside over there on Tetris, and he grabs the trade on a Barbar.
That was beautiful. And there we go. Lekro finally getting back into it now. Picks up res, and this is actually doable for Godsent. First time in 5 or 6 rounds where they have had a legit chance of winning around 4v2 right now. But it's Calais and Draken. Draken, the hero with the AWP that we've seen so many times before. But Calais is all alone on the speed bomb side, and he it's about to be taken down by JW. So now it's Draken. Draken might actually be considering saving because, as we mentioned, these trades have been happening. So the money's not perfect, but he just gets wrecked by Flusha.
The Flusha we want to see. Nicely done from Godsent there. Getting a bit greedy with the knife kill, and, well, what do you know? Karma bites back quick.
Yeah. Money, of course, is still going to be good enough for Epsilon to buy this round, but the next one, they're going to be a bit strapped for the full buy. And there we do see the triple knife.
Good on Barber, though. Just to maybe know, in case anyone didn't catch that, he doesn't immediately go for the right click because he knows he's not going to get that backstab from that angle.
Exactly.
Smart. Also, we've seen that backstab thing glitch out so many times in pro games.
Yep.
Honestly, don't even want to risk it. If he's got him with like a nade out or something, he knows he's got to take time to recover. Might as well go for the triple knife there. And he does work out. Draken moving back in through underpass, though. We've already seen from him some impressive shots, and he does another one. Moving in. Schneider, though, waiting. He's like the king of punishing aggression so far against Godsent. Second round in a row now. He's been able to take down a player, but this lineup, Barbar, legendary. 2 kills against Schneider and Flusha, and Godsent almost immediately lose their advantage there.
So here we go, 2v4, and this is going to be hard for the Godsent money situation because this reset of the lost bonus is just going to hit them hard. Let's see, JW 26 HP, Lekro with 100 and some utility, but they're still up against 4 CT players, and Calais has locked them down from behind. Rest with the AWP even this time around. Misses the first peek, but they have not gone into the bomb site yet, and Calais just wraps him from behind. Lekro 1v4 now, definitely going to get wrecked, and that's going to be 11-2 blue. Epsilon are on the brink of almost a perfect first half.
Just resetting Godsent too, so their money cannot be in any sort of good position here now. At most, I believe they're going to be looking at just upgraded pistols again. Maybe an armor buy behind that, but they've got to try to buy down to 2K so they can afford. And I mean even after that now, buys are going to be a little bit limited looking at utility and whatnot. But it looks like they just go in for it, actually.
All in.
They decide to buy full YOLO on this one. 3 AKs, a Tech-9 sitting on Flusha, and a Galil for Schneider.
So there we go. Once again, Draken in mid. I think he saw some kind of signature through that smoke. Or just on the top of that smoke as the one player just jumped across. Won't really do any damage just yet. Lekro on 82, but that's not really anything that matters too much. Draken now rotating after spotting that mid control being taken by Godsent, rotating onto another position.
We can see actually Lekro finding the entry back over there inside of the apartments themselves. Calais outside though. Again, this trade system is set up really well for Epsilon too, so they are able to take him down afterwards. The mid control is important though. This is an area that Godsent has actually really been struggling to get control of here and actually utilize to then push onto his site. So having this early on in the round is going to prove very, very important. And Epsilon knows this. We can see the Molotovs from Barbar. They're a little bit cautious to make sure they don't actually go beyond this and into the A-bomb site, but they don't know which site it's going to hit yet either. So Barbar needs to try and move out here. Schneider has a great angle, and he continues to sneak around the map here, racking up these kills left and right. He's found another one this time against Barbar.
Calais here in these B apartments, equipped with an AWP. Freddy B picks up one on JW, so now we have a 3v3 scenario. Weapons definitely in charge of Epsilon here. Godsent not looking that good. Flusha only with a Tech-9. And Snyder now trading his Galil out for an AK. So at least something, but now it's Pronax. Up to him to do this, to get the entry back onto this bomb site.
Draken dropping down, and there we go. Intuition there as he takes down Pronax, spotting him just as they push into the site. Gets the intel from his teammate. 8 seconds left. Schneider's found that first kill, but now, as they wrap back in, Flusha no longer has time to get this onto the ground. He's found the kill, but I don't think he started the plan in time, and Callie knows this. He's just going to run away. What is he doing there, camera?
And no one knows.
With his hand? Did you see
no
that?
one knows. Yeah, was it the Carrigan the move?
Oh, yeah.
It might be the Carrigan move. Way back in the day when Carrigan was playing 1.6, he had this little rattle that he brought to every single stage, and he wasn't allowed to bring it anymore, so instead he just did the move. Maybe that has spread. No one knows. There's not far from Copenhagen to Sweden, so it could have spread.
Maybe he was like trying to hype up his team, but he didn't. I don't know if the stage thing like wraps above the players at all. Maybe he didn't want to hit it if it's above him. I don't really know how big that is at all. Flusha.
Oh, that's good.
Finally taking down Draken. I think that's like one of the. I think it's the first time an up-on-up battle is going against Draken. Schneider pushing out 2, finds Freddy. So on this last round, force up from Godsent, they're looking good. They've upgraded to a double op setup all of a sudden, and they pretty much have A site control. But they got to get the bomb in here, which is an issue they ran into a couple rounds back too, and they eventually ended up losing the round because of that. Barbar still has oversight now on this site, but he doesn't know where Schneider is.
Now Snyder's pretty close by, and he's going to rotate Barbar now down to this connector. Gets wrecked by Lekro with the AWP. Now 4 now. It's 3. And Calais is just continually making his way into bomb site, continually just getting frags. Wow, Calais. Norway's back, man. Norway's back.
It seems like it.
Ooh.
A little bit of it, at least.
A little bit.
Just a single player.
Yeah, they got two players at the minor.
It's like how we have a UK player back on LDLC. Technically a UK player.
Dead scene though.
By birthright.
No, but to be honest, that was an absolutely sick half from Epsilon, 13-2 in this first one. And Calais having a beast of a performance. Draken, probably in my opinion, together with Rez, just absolutely stomping through the lineup of Godsent.
Yeah, Draken clearly showing his prowess on the A-bomb site and also into middle on multiple rounds there too, denying access pretty much everywhere on the map that Godsent wanted to take control of. And then Rez, especially in those first like 6 or 7 rounds there, every time we saw an all-in push from the guys on Godsent, it was completely destroyed by Rez on almost every single occasion. And, well, we didn't really see a whole lot of those pushes simply because of Rez.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, every single player on the Epsilon lineup is playing really well right now. On the other side of Godsent, the way that we've seen, okay, when they do take wins, it's because Flusha and JW or someone else just steps up and plays really well. On the Epsilon side, they just all play so solid. Like, it's not like you can... we try, of course, to pick up, oh yeah, this is the player that's really doing well, that's why they're winning, but every single player is just continually lifting this team up.
Well, let's get back into it now. Second half beginning, and Godsent have a lot of ground to make up. If they could somehow bring this back, that would be impressive to say the least. And that would also take a huge drop-off from Epsilon, comparing it to that heroic performance we just saw on their CT side. Rez and Draken lead the way. Barbar, who we mentioned at one point there too, is also doing a fantastic job of defending the A-side along with Draken. So off of that, of course, we can hope that that can transition into the T side now.
So quick takeover towards the mid and the B apartments. This could be in order to do a B split, but there is JW just shutting down the first one. Lekro with the USPS on long range as well takes his first one down, and this is looking very good. This is looking just like Train on that CT side for Godsent, where they really did well in the pistol round, and looks like a perfect pistol almost. Yes, it will be perfect pistol round for Godsent, and that is going to be 13-3, so the comeback has started.
So they will hold control of that one now. Godsent find their start. Now it's all about keeping it going, keeping it rolling, and making sure that they can actually complete this one. They still have 10 more rounds to go, of course, to bring this back all the way to tie it up now. And it will start with the second round build-up that they'll try to do. Godsent, that round, of course, along with taking a look here, the buy that will come in from Epsilon, of course. Now, it is just going to be the force from them. Deagles for 3 of them. Calais and Draken going for the Tech 9 pickups, and JW here, as we can see, moves in. He gets that 1 kill, but a fast response from Rez. Bring it down to a 4v4. Schneider, though, finding a bit of an angle outside of the smoke, also knocking out Calais, and this will start to deny the mid-pressure that Epsilon so desperately wanted, but it's basically going to cost them the round because of it here. Barbar tries to push in, but Schneider, again, quick on the draw, replaces him, and Godsent do pick up that second round without too much of a risk.
Yeah, good standard round from Godsent. They did not, as you said, risk as much as they probably could in that one, and did not end up losing. They only lost a single player, and that player was on an SMG, so not too big of an economical damage coming in there. Epsilon now forced into almost a complete eco here. Only one who can really buy anything, which is a P250, is Rez, and I don't even think he's going to go for it. So this is going to be the complete eco for Epsilon, and Godsent surely going to find themselves on 5 rounds soon.
Well, we can see Epsilon again splitting across the map in its entirety here, trying to weigh their options, and also someone moving very quickly to push their way outside of Palace. Going to be Freddy. Again, around where everybody's got Glocks, so not necessarily a round of consequence for Epsilon here for the most part, just trying to get through this one and on to the next gun round, but hey, if they can pick up 1 or 2 kills along the way, why not? Won't be the worst thing in the world. Not seeming likely from the current status of things. Draken tries to hold a good spot, but pretty quickly taken out by JW, and there we have it. Freddy, the last man standing, goes down in the Palace. Godsent go 5-13 as we prepare to get into the first gun round.
Yeah, and it always seems so weird to me when you have like a full eco and you, instead of going for a coordinated push somewhere, you just go and find 5 individual 1v1s where you have a clock and you almost all of the time it gets a fully bought up CT. It doesn't work out for them here, and 9 out of 10 times it would either, but Godsent, they don't really care too much about this eco. They care about this this buy that's going to be coming up now.
We see Epsilon moving themselves over here towards the T ramp. Again, a very big push possibly working its way into the site, and then keeping Barbar at the top of mid there as a bit of a delayed push into the connector here. Pronax, no patience for him, but he's not going to work out so well. He's going to go down pretty quickly, and Freddy B also finding his kill. Now the gates are swung wide open. Epsilon, they're going to have no problems at all pushing back in here. Flush has got to try and do something to prevent this. Holds the tight angle there, picks up a first kill. Out in the open, gets a second one, and underneath of the platform, we've seen Heroics come out from Schneider before, and he does it once again. 2 more kills from him. It's up to Barbar now, but they expect this. This is the standard play, is to have this guy come in late. He's going to try to creep his way through the smoke, possibly, but actually realize at the last moment that they're going to be waiting for me. This may not be the smartest idea.
So Barbar now 1v3, and this is pretty much impossible. He's just going to wait for the smoke to dissipate and then try and come in and see if he can work something out. If this doesn't happen, then he has to save. But of course, Barbar, he's a player with a lot of self-confidence, goes for it.
Barbar moving in now. There was a man underneath of the platform before, but he may not be looking towards it, assuming he would have moved in the time since the last hit. Also being very cautious of, specifically, I imagine, Schneider himself having moved out from that platform and gone for a flank against him. But he can't find it. There's a lot of ifs and not a lot of really knowns at the moment here for Barbar. But he's found that first player. Now it's all about locating Schneider. He's found him. He's got it. And now there's 1 more to go. Sitting behind him, and he still has 20 seconds to play with. But he doesn't realize that Lekro has creeped out behind the box. He'll have the angle advantage in that final 1v1. And Godsent hold control of their comeback still.
Great try by Barbar, though. He's really been impressing me so far throughout this game. And just looking like a changed player, to be honest. Like, in the couple of last months, the play that I've seen from him has not been great, but in this tournament, he has been absolutely beast.
So off of that one, brings the money down at the very least again to a decent level for Epsilon to try and control, so they're just going to half buy here with Tech 9 armors. Draken unfortunately can't really afford that to the heavier investment he has, so he's only going to be working with a P250, but it's very fast from Epsilon again. Moving their way over there into the B halls. They're already prepared to go for a apartments push here. Maybe having the utility to initiate. And Barbar not having much luck at all there behind that smoke. Still being brought down very low. However, they blinded Electro. LA is going to be able to jump in there. Takes more, but he does grab the kill. And now they're flooding onto the site, but Godsent are controlling the situation. 2 kills for them. They can't prevent the plant. At the very least, they've guaranteed that bonus money for the next round. Barbar finally taken down over here out at mid 2 once the smokes have faded away. And it goes down to Freddy and Rez to try and hold in a 2v4. Freddy finding a rifle and armor behind it too. So we'll expect him hiding in this corner, but messes up his first encounter, and that will pretty much spell the end unless Rez comes out like a god here.
Let's see here, Rez. Can he do it? Tech 9 in hand. Tries his best, gets the first one. Second one on the defuse, but not going to happen. What I really liked there from the way that Epsilon played that round was that Barbar was on the top of mid, and he was actually holding the attention of 2 players, all on his own, which forces only 1 CT to be in that B-bomb side. That means if they rush in 4 guys towards that guy, they don't even need flashbangs. 4 guys, of course, if they push out at the correct time, will always take out that guy, and they will get the bomb plant and then a post-plant scenario where they technically can try to win the round. So great eco, great pistol round there coming out of Epsilon. Now they do have money, they do have Drake and an AWP. As you said, only a peach of 50 last round because he wanted to get that AWP now, and now it's in his hand. Let's see what he can do.
Godsent are sending a lot of their players again across the map. Still the 2-1-2 split. They're not prioritizing any area, but they're going to crunch mid, or Epsilon is trying to move in to hold control right now. As we can see, Schneider again finding himself in a situation where he's very, very close to the enemy. Just out of grasp of being able to actually take them down right now. Would not be wise to stay in there. So he falls back, expecting a push to come in just a moment, and he's right to do so since we have those other 2 with the bomb prepared to push their way in towards the T ramp here. As he waits outside, He sits and kind of just is expecting this hit to come in any moment here. But Rez, holy crap, finds Schneider there, knows he's sitting on the steps, and destroys him through the paneling.
That was absolutely insane. Rez with the Spidey sense just tingling, just saying, yeah, he's probably sitting in that corner, wall banks him, just gets the frag easy. And now that's a one-man advantage. Pronax on 49 HP as well. Let's see, the A split will actually not be coming into play. They are rotating back to T-spawn, but that was just to confuse the CTs. I think they are still staying on the A ramp. Oh, here we go. Surely.
Boost up coming in now to the window there to give them a little bit of control here. It's Kali specifically, and oh, that probably wasn't supposed to happen. Pronax takes down Barbar though. And also back over here, Flusha finding himself a duel with Kali. He doesn't stick around for it though to complete the kill. As the rest of Epsilon are now pushing their way in through the apartments here to take control. The Molotov's doing actually a great job of holding it back and buying time for these rotates. And now there's JW in the picture, finding Rez. We do see Flusha still holding in the apartments too. The bomb's down in a corner. Draken knows this is impossible, and obviously Kali's still really far away. Now, Kali actually had a really great position if he went through with this.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like they still could have been able to try and win this one. It would have been close, of course, but they're taking the safe path on this one, and they're just going to choose to save instead of risking their lives and their guns, more importantly.
Well, let's see here. Oh, Draken plays it up perfectly and gets doubled! No info?
I guess. The op shots should have been heard from that close, though.
That was just weird.
JW, a bit of a moment of lapsed judgment, and he loses his life, and they get 2 extra kills at the end of that round there. So, again, like I mentioned before, even though they're not winning, and they're doing a great job of making sure they find impact, so they're keeping the CT economy low for when they finally do start to win these rounds again.
So here we go, 13-8 Godsent. They are bringing it back now, I have to say that. Epsilon have not looked convincing on any of these T rounds that they've had. They had good starts on some rounds, but the rounds in general have not been looking good.
So Godsent again now looking for ways to try and fend off the aggression here. And we'll once again try and crunch on mid too, as we can see Epsilon going for that early top mid control. They won't be sending anybody, JW specifically, over there towards like the window room, of course. Kind of shying away from that one, but JW holds outside, and a notable change, of course, is that Schneider is nowhere near the steps anymore after his encounter in the last round. Really nothing he could do to avoid dying there, but
yeah,
not going to take a chance on that happening again, since that was a consistent position he was putting himself in, and quite obviously they had gotten the read on that, and Rez punished that.
So JW just being very aware of Kali's position, but Kali, of course, just, well, shouldn't be peeking here. Okay, I take that back. Kali should be peeking when he's hitting shots like that. Surely I was sure that JW with an AWP, knowing exactly where the T is, he's going to hit that shot 10 out of 10 times, but nope. Kali is stronger, and that is going to be the first frag of the round.
Finding that kill, and now it pushes Godsent across the map to only a 2-2 split defense. A-side doesn't want anything to do with this action. Flush has gone down. Now they only have Lekro sitting on that site, but the execution is going to come in towards A. Unfortunately, all of their defenses are sitting behind Ticket currently. Pronax having to go up on top of the smoke, on top of the box, but he's impacting there. He's found 1. He's found 2. Finally, goes down to Barbar. But we have Schneider now taking his position, and the missed shot from Draken. That is going, well, it doesn't miss, but not the full kill from Draken. And it does allow Schneider to move in there, picking up 1 more kill. Kali takes down Lekra, though, as he tries to rotate back out towards Cat, and all of a sudden, everything goes into the hands of Schneider in the 1 versus 2. He's also wasted a lot of time here when they were close to the site, and there was smokes on the site before that he could have tried to use to get himself in here. Now the problem is that he doesn't have that anymore, but the positioning of this bomb may allow him to move in, and also the op on the ground. You can see Barbar trying to play with him a bit, but I think time has gone a little bit too far here now, so he's just going to seal that op, run away. A little bit of a shopping spree as he makes his way there in enemy territory, but he'll be happy with escaping with that and letting Epsilon pick up the round there.
10 damage away from dying. Very, very close to Schneider, but he will survive and bring that AWP and that Molotov in towards the next round. So, good job nonetheless. Let's see here, Godsent now on the back foot again. We'll be basically trying to fight their way back. Epsilon being on 14 is going to be a hard score to look at and think, yeah, boys, we can do this, no worries. Just like, need 2 rounds to finish this one off, but Godsent are a team that have incredible amounts of self-confidence. So they are looking at this at all times, thinking of the possibility of them winning. That's, well, not winning is simply not a possibility in their minds.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially being able to, again, continue through in the upper bracket here and punch their easy ticket through to the major qualifiers next month. That's still the ultimate goal of these events, and well, Pronax is going to find himself a nice kill to start up this round. Weber gets his head glued to the wall there, and the rest of his body falls down, taking him out of the equation. Now we can see too Schneider again. Look how close he finds himself so often to aggressing T's. Draken, he's looking for him up top, but where's Draken gone here? He doesn't know where to look currently, and oh no, just looking a little bit too up on the top side there, and he's even going to peek out, finds a player that did boost him up, and he survives the encounter with 1 HP. Great stuff from Schneider.
So here we go, Callie and Res. 2v5. Schneider saving that weapon last round, and now also coming in huge in this round as well. Taking 2 frags, going down to 1 HP. Of course, he's going to play very defensively now, not going to pick anything at all because he wants to bring that weapon into the next one. So surely Godsent has got this one in the bag. Callie and Res. So 2 great players, and they start out by eliminating JW. So this is a possibility. 33 seconds to go.
I'll sit back here now outside of the connector there, and Schneider, if they make any noise, Schneider's still going to be able to hear that. And I think they know that, though. They really just need to kill him, so they're going to move in here. Okay. That would have been ludicrous if he somehow got a frag there on a Callie.
So here we go, 2v3. This is actually doable now, and Callie actually moves on. And now they can take this A bomb site together. They have eliminated apartments. That means that, oh, well, Pronax is going to get 1 kill. So now it's a 1v2, but Res only on 10 HP. Bomb going down, though, that's the most important thing. So they're going to get that money bonus, but it's not going to be the round for them. Got
the money, but are going to lose the round there. Yeah. However, still a 6-round cushion to work with, and honestly, the money is far more important with that kind of a working load. Still to climb up here. So Godsent, they'll find their 9. They're not dead yet either. They're happy about their ability to close out this one, but Epsilon, well, they're happy about their ability to still be able to probably buy going into the next one. We'll see in a moment, though. As things are getting closer here, Godsent are certainly not out of the game.
Definitely not. Let's have a look here. What's going to go down between these two? How are they going to go into this next one? Godsent, once again, as I said, on the back foot, being in that 6 round. 6 rounds away, 5 rounds away from tying us up. Epsilon, on the other hand, 2 rounds away from winning this one and going on to the upper bracket final.
Schneider, again, you can see there too, that was a great play from him. That kind of lines out the victory. I think you were bringing it up before, but we haven't seen Schneider deploy the hood yet.
Yeah, that is why they're not winning.
Clearly.
Darth Schneider, we need him back.
I saw him yesterday, and he was playing like a god.
Yeah.
He's playing pretty good here too, like I said.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's always finding himself in those similar situations where he's like really close up, and he just has to like use the sound capabilities here to keep himself quiet and lurk through smokes and whatnot in tight angles to try and find himself an angle advantage that he can use to take these guys down. And he's been really, really good at that. He was doing it back when they were on the T side over towards a T ramp a lot, and
yeah. Now
he's done it again here inside of the window room, and they keep trying to boost up to it.
So right now we will have a B hit coming in from Epsilon. Blackbird surely should be able to grab at least a couple of frags here, but actually only grabs 1. Nade comes in though, Barbar with another one, so now it's 2v3 but pistols only. Actually Barbar picks up an M4 on the opposite bomb site, and he will be shut down by Flosher. Great round by Flosher, triple kill from him, but some damage being dealt as well by Epsilon.
Quick round there again as well. Now we see the guys for Godsent being able to claim. So the scoreline grows ever closer, 14-10. I believe it will be now here. And we'll see how exactly Epsilon are able to take this next one here. As the investments roll in, they have an op sitting on Draken. Here's the thing though, is Draken's kind of fallen off quite a bit here in the second half so far. We haven't really seen him have anywhere close to the impact he was having back on the first half. Really, for all those big guys. Rez is still having his moments, I feel like, but Draken certainly set from the previous. And now we see Pronax, Rez trading blows back over there on the T ramp, but Epsilon very decisively trying to move their way into this A bomb site now. JW waiting back over here in the connector for Palace pressure, but he's not really going to find it anytime soon here. In the meantime, though, you can see on the alternate screen there, Schneider, he's lurking his way around, but they've got guys falling back to look for this. So Schneider could immediately be taken down here, and he is. That's going to be Callie knocking him down. Epsilon are in a great position to close this one out. Godsent, they've lost their ace in the hole on that flank, and now they've just got to try to force their way back in.
Yeah, they might even be thinking about, like, oh, this is going to be so hard because it's 3v4 and all the terrorists are so far back into the side, and they know exactly what to do when they hear that sound of the CT tapping on the bomb. But Flusher picks up 1 though. This is doable.
Draken moving in there, though, claims another one up close and personal. They're going for that defuse. Draken, you've got to hit the shot, and no!
Oh!
He's not going to be able to do it. Flusha sneaks the defuse in a 1-on-3. Freddy's going to take him down, but that doesn't even matter. Godsent have somehow stolen this round.
Somehow, some way, That round goes to Godsent. That was absolutely insane. Balls of steel coming in from flusha right there.
They take down his teammate. He's sitting alone. All he has is support. I don't even think he's like actually like in the smoke either. He's just sitting beyond the edge of it. So using that coverage, it works out perfectly. And Godsent just barely are able to escape with that one. They're still in the game. They still have a chance to round this comeback and push through to the upper bracket finals.
flusha, the hero for Godsent. He has been the hero throughout this tournament for them, in my opinion. He has been their standout player, and with that round saving defuse coming in as well, this is good potential for him to just totally go crazy in the last part of this third map.
Well, Epsilon here now again splitting themselves up 3 and 2 across the map here, with them having players ready to really fight off any aggression coming in from the CT side. They expect Godsent to go fully aggressive now after a round victory like that one to really punish and kind of seal the deal of this comeback. But for now, they've held back into the sights. And with the exception of flusha kind of checking things out over here on Catwalk, they're all held pretty preservatively into their usual positions.
Scout on JW, maybe. That could be the one thing that Epsilon can try and punish here. That is definitely the one disadvantage that Godsent has compared to the couple of setups they've had before this. Money definitely looking tight in that Swedish camp. In the other Swedish camp, no worries. Draken is on an AWP, so he has everything he needs.
Since Schneider again behind the panel, but now they thought he'd moved away from that position. He's back to it. He's going to be able to pick up those 2 kills there. Barbar and Kali both getting knocked away from this one. 20 seconds to find their way into the site and get the bomb onto the ground. Sitting on the other side of Firebox, Pronax sits over there and waits. JW now in the site. Draken's the last man standing. He's got a 1v5. There's no chance at all. It's going to be time for him to run away, but even getting out of here is going to be a toughie. He wraps around the corner here, down at 17 HP now. They're all chasing him. Oh, an up-close shot. They want the knife. He misses, and he gets that second kill on the JW. So, making the best of a bad situation, I suppose.
Yeah, and to be honest, Godsent just continuing on from that last round where they won. Technically, they didn't deserve to win. Let's just face it, that was a sick defuse, but that was the only reason they won that round. And now they just use that momentum to continually just spur on. And this is going to be round number 12 going home for them. So 14-12 coming in. And this is getting close compared to the fact that the first half was so one-sided. This is getting to be an incredibly close game.
Comeback was certainly a possibility, as we remember. It happened so many times on. I mean, it's not even like it's just Godsent. It's just been at this event. We've had so many huge comebacks. We had like 2 5-10 comebacks, and we had an 11-4 comeback at one point yesterday.
You couldn't even write a better narrative. It just happens all on its own. Like
it's just every single game. It seems like the odds are stacked against one of these teams. They still managed to bring it back at the end of the day, but there is also to remember that looming possibility of Epsilon just to roll right through 2 more rounds here and claim it. That's still a very real possibility as well. And that would be the crusher, I imagine, for Godsent. But looks like we ran into a small technical issue, so we'll just reset it pretty quickly and get back into that, as you can hear from all the people dying in the background.
Good play by Schneider here as well, as you said. He's constantly switching up from this position. And yeah, Draken, of course, getting 2 in the end, but in that one, it's going to be Godsent coming out on top. And here we go. See, the money is looking good on the CT side. They're going to be able to afford everything they need. On the Terry side, it's going to be the Tech-9 train.
So let's get back into a very important round again now for Epsilon. And this is another kind of problem area for Epsilon, though, is that as far as these kind of half-buy eco rounds are concerned, we have not really seen a lot of success from them. They can find success if they go at a quick pace about it and manage to catch a few of these guys by surprise. But the problem is, well, this could have started off well here. Now they've been revealed. Now they know they're moving into mid. They know that they have the pressure going in there. The nade stacks from Godsent have been good too, as you can see on the Res and Draken, bringing them down very low. And Godsent are going to start to get prepped for this. So how exactly will Epsilon try to do anything? And JW actually moving in there with the op, and now moving away, switches back over to it, but Draken punches now. He's got the op in hand. Not only this, but Kali, he just found the kill onto flusha in the archway. Now he's going to push forward. Electro blind, but still manages to adjust for the kill there. All attention drawn to the apartments, but with that low of an HP, he cannot take any more battles. And the next one he does take, he goes down. Freddy B is going to eliminate him, and it all falls to Schneider in a 1 versus 4. Epsilon are about to steal this half-buy and send themselves up to 15 rounds.
perfect round from Epsilon. This is exactly what they wanted. Basically, putting the first guy up, that was the whole intention of their setup, was putting that one guy up into that kind of mid-window, and then making him lurk there around until he finds someone. He finds the AW, gets the orb, and that just opens everything up. The Deagle pushes in from short, gets a frag as well, and then the B bomb side is open, and they push in from those apartments and get the final kill on B. Get the bomb down, leave Snyder in this 1v4, which he's not going to go for because Snyder is not stupid, so he's saving in CT spawn, bringing that weapon into the next round.
Bit of a general assessment there.
I think he's a clever man.
Well, he'll stuck in, still sit in CT spawn, AFK for a moment there, and be able to save that rifle. Nobody heading over in that direction to be able to drop that gun, but now we'll wait until we get back in game, of course, to see this, but where exactly does the economy lie here for Godsent? These have been some very, very close rounds, and they may have not had the best chance to actually build up a bank because of how kind of back and forth things may have seen here for the last 5 or 6. So considering that, this could get very, very rough indeed, and it could just lead us into a victory status for the Epsilon roster.
Baba here on screen just talking to his teammates, explaining what they need to do. I think this might actually also be a pulse as well from either one of those teams to find out, okay, this could be potentially the last round that we're going to play in this one. How are we going to tackle it? How are we going to go forth? And how are we going to set ourselves up to take these final challenges? Because usually it's very hard to predict what happens after the initial 2 frags, but definitely you can set yourself and your team up to take those positions and have the challenges going into the latter stages of the round. And we saw that in the last round where Epsilon had that quasi-buy, that pistol buy basically. They started with a good thing and then they worked from that into a win.
But again, the tension continues to rise here. As you can see, as we've been panning over to the players from Godsent, everything does not seem right with them now that they've lost that eco round. They, for sure, should have had control of that one, but it spiraled out of control very quickly, and now they are sitting at the cusp of losing this one. Now keep in mind, guys, again, I've already brought this up a few times, but just to make sure it's clarified, as it's a little bit of a different format to some of the past minors here. It is a double elimination bracket stage. This is no longer single elimination here. So if Godsent lose this, they are not out of the tournament just yet. They'll go down to a lower bracket where they're going to play off either later today or tomorrow versus the loser of our next matchup here. It is time, though, to get back into it. Epsilon up on match point.
Here we go. Baba once again aggressively into mid, gonna put that smoke down. Gonna use a lot of utility in middle to kind of retain this control here, making sure that the CTs cannot push into any crazy positions, and now he's gonna sneak his way past this smoke and take some more map control.
Barbar moving himself through here too, gets up to the smoke. Nobody peeking out from Godsent, but JW doesn't actually go for it there. Doesn't spot Barbar as they move in though. There's Flusha finding it. 5 from these guys is not looking good, but they are able to hold it off. Pronax finding the second kill there. Stuck behind a triple stack there, and Draka's going to try to use the Molotov to force him out, but there's another player, and oh, just clips Tetris there, tries to adjust, but no, Pronax is going to be able to push back out. Freddy finds the free kill into Flusha, but now it's just these two looking to recover those 2 kills, so they bring it down to 2 versus 3, and they've got an open B bomb site, but not for long. More than likely, Lekro, he's actually going to go straight into their path here, working his way over to the staircase here, keeping himself quiet, so there is a bit of mystery to this.
He might be able to catch the bomb.
Yeah, it's going to cut Rez off here at the turret timing if he doesn't stop here. He moves up, he can hear him walking away, and he's going to find him, he's tagged him, taking him down. The bomb is now under control of Godsent, and it's Freddy B versus the world.
Let's see if he can make this happen. 1 AK and Dream, but double stack in the kitchen market is not going to happen at all, and that is going to be the 13th round for Godsent. They bring it back after a demoralizing loss in that one round before, but now they're back in the fray. Godsent, can they do this? Can they bring us to overtime?
You could hear him yelling from the other room too. That's so good for them that they managed to claim that one. Again, now they're back in the game, and I think that's going to reset. Oh no, they're still able to force into it pretty well. So yeah. Epsilon still having enough cash here to be able to go for another buy. Draken has the opportunity. It's not as big of a factor as it was, though, back on the first half. What really matters is they got the utility and whatnot to play this out well, and Godsent are able to upgrade their own arsenal a little bit, but no op for them, so they don't have that power anymore.
So here we go, Flusha and the guys from Godsent. How are they going to be able to handle this one? Lekro on a FAMAS, so a bit of a scrappy buy coming up for both teams. We also do see Barbar on a Galil, so not the complete perfect package, but still a decent buy coming up from both teams here. We do have, of course, as you mentioned, the AWP on Draken, and we need to see him play like he did in the first half. Pronax finally stepping up and getting the first frag in the round. This time around, it's not of an aggressive peak, it's of a more passive position, but he takes that frag, and he's happy about it.
Epsilon again snacking up in mid here, already losing one of their players. There's still 3 from Godsent sitting on the B bomb site, which is going to prove dangerous if he's going to go through with a cat hit, but sneaking his way in. It's found by JW. Not going to trick him. Taking him down. They throw the Molotov over there into the window room, but reasoning is a bit unknown here. Just maybe to stop the guys from really following them through so they can actually retreat, get themselves into the apartments area, and then push back into it. But even as they do that, Draken, he spots the guy up on that little jump-up spot on the site, but still can't hit the shot. He's down at 15 HP now, and they're going to double back all of a sudden. They bit hard on the rotate, but when they don't see any pressure at all on this B-bomb site, they're going to head right over to the A-bomb site. They still have left Pronax there.
Yeah, Pronax is still just waiting, slowly but surely, to face those terrorists, but they're just playing very passively right now. 2 CTs actually pushing in. So Res might catch some action here. That's one, and that's it. This is really well played by Epsilon. They're not rotating all the way around. They are just waiting here in these B apartments because they know the time is running out. The CTs will most likely at least commit 1 player to them so they can take some money off Godsent.
Reds again sitting in the back here, just waiting for the time to run down. So these guys will be safe. They'll be able to carry those guns into it. But now Godsent, they picked up the round here, 15-14. It's like our last map, it goes to the 30th round. The pressure mounting against Epsilon here. They had full control. They won that eco round. They had everything that was needed, but then they lose the following one where it is Godsent forcing up. And that seems to have sent the pressure right back into this other Swedish roster here now, just to try and close out that final round. It is becoming a bit of a task for them, and Godsent really back at full power now, so how are you going to stop them, especially with 2 of your guys down on Tech 9s?
Here we go. Epsilon, with everything on the line, they can still take this win if they take this round 1 down. And now Godsent on the brink of bringing us into overtime. Flusher and the guys have been battling so hard, coming off a terrible start of this tournament, a terrible start of today, bringing it back in a close game every single time they played. And once again, they are in round number 30. In a game that decides if they go on to the good part of the bracket or if they drop down to the losers.
Flusha still sitting back here again, hoping for a player to push through or even just work his way up through the connector. That actually may be happening. Ooh, Barber, but with nades, certainly not going to help their case. That one just goes right into the corner and ultimately is wasted. Not only this too, but JW took damage elsewhere on the map. He's down at 36 HP after he's retreated from his previous position now. He's going to be hiding out in the crawl space back over there, waiting for players to go through the window room. Not happening, and Epsilon are going for a very slow build-up into a B hit here. Most certainly is heading into that site, however. So these 2 players here need to be ready to defend it. It's going to fall down to Lecro and Flusha when the time comes, which may be soon here with them encroaching on 30 seconds. Lecro spotting the first player, having to adjust his aim. He gets the second one instead, falling back behind the van. The second player for him, the third, and now 4th on the round as Barbar gets knocked out, and Draken's alone in the apartments. He's picked up 1 kill, 20 seconds on the clock. He's got 2 of them heavily lit, but he goes down to JW. And Godsent are going to be able to tie it back up now at 15-15. Second map in a row now, and it goes to overtime.
These 2 teams are so hard to separate. And here we go to see the most focused man in the entire world, Godsent, Flusher. And on the other side, this is... it must be so hard being an Epsilon player right now because they played a perfect first half. And then Godsent just turned something on and they just... it was so hard for them to get anything done whatsoever. Now we're in an overtime. They have to reset themselves mentally and bring this victory home.
They need to try and find a way. And again... It's not like it's not like a lot of other tournaments where it's MR3, and in theory you just need a couple of rounds to stack together. This is like a whole new ball game basically that they have to worry about here now. 6 rounds need to be claimed in order to actually take this in overtime. So that's a very long period of time. You need to be able to actually hold control of the matchup here.
Yeah.
And then also do it 2 times in a row. The other thing to keep in mind here, too, is these players have to be drained by this point, too. They've been going for however many hours now. A full 3 maps. I think all 3 of them, if I remember correctly, have had double digits for both teams, so fairly long games. And the second map goes into overtime, and now this third map's going into overtime, too. So
we started 10:30, I think, and now it's 2:30, so 4 hours so far. And these players, 4 hours of straight-up CS, and not just any CS. This is high-pressure situations all the freaking time.
And... one of them's got to play again a little bit later on today.
Yeah.
So now you really don't want to lose this game. We would hope that like Godsent, because they've been players for so long that they're kind of used to these longer days by now. But I imagine for Epsilon there, it might be a bit of a new thing for them.
Yeah, that might be the case. But also Epsilon, the players on that level are used to these kind of not the the major tournaments. They're used to some of the lower tier lands, and at some of the lower tier lands, you'll get like insane days where you just play like 18 hours a day. That's at least how it is in some of the lower parts of the Danish scene. That some of the upcoming players are just used to playing like 18 hours a day straight in a tournament.
Those like big open lands.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, 500 teams showed up. We gotta somehow get through this in 3 days. So everybody's playing like 6 best of 3s today.
Just how it's going to be. Play for 24 hours straight. No worries.
But again, now just waiting for the players, I believe, to ready up. Look at them a moment, of course, between overtime. And we can see that too. Godsent discussing things and how they're going to play this back out. Lecker actually looking rather lighthearted currently, which is somewhat surprising considering they almost just lost that one.
Yeah. Barbar's just always looking, not angry, but always looking not happy. It's constantly just... Well, I think that's good, to be honest, because he is that voice of reason on that team. Not saying that the other players are in any fact or shape or form not like reasonable, but he's the experienced player. He knows exactly what needs to be done and what needs to be said in a situation like this. And he can hopefully bring these younger players on Epsilon into a position where they can rely on their fracking power to win the round and rely on him to make the right decisions.
And again, we can see Pronax sitting back down too, so they should be good to go in a moment here. But as you mentioned, the discussion over there on the Epsilon side, getting very heated to say the least here, and how they actually lost that advantage there, and how this now goes into overtime. How are they going to play this? Again, economics being a very big part of how both of these teams kind of controlled their halves, and now that factor's thrown out the window. It's pretty much going to be full buys for every single round at this point forward, and they've got to learn to consistently fight against that power without having to worry about, or without, having the relief of trying to break your opponent.
Yeah, definitely. So this is going to be an interesting overtime, second one in this best of 3. And, well, the worst thing that I can imagine is having to say that Machine was correct. He was
the only one, right?
He will be correct. He said 2-1 for Epsilon.
So lucky with those, too, is the worst part. Like, best of 1s, I guess. Or
yeah,
like
that's something, but
up.
This best of 3? Really? Oh, wow. That's how it is.
It's a shame, really.
It's a good start of his new career, being that much on point.
It's a bold strategy, just calling the other direction all the time.
I'm trying to create a narrative. Oops, I was right.
I don't even think he gave a reason for this one either, did he?
No. He actually said he did not give a reason.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like he had actual reasoning for this one, but maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe.
So it is Machine. Well, again, just waiting now at this point. And we'll jump back into it in a moment here, but certainly a lot on the line for both of these teams. Thankfully, not elimination currently. This would be,
definitely.
I imagine, even more intense if that was on the table here. But
to be honest, like the team dropping down into the losers bracket from this one is probably going to be absolutely drained, both mentally but also physically. So they're going to be having a tough time resetting and going into the next one.
That would be a crazy story, however, if Godsent, as we're now finally getting into it, by the way, if Godsent, with the crazy roster they have, multiple major champions on the roster, and multiple, major champions that have won multiple majors in themselves, go into the lower bracket of the minor twice, and then still manage to qualify. That would be like, well, I guess they qualified, but it's like, what's going on there? What has happened? What has the downfall become here now for Godsent?
So here we go, 15-15, first overtime round in the third map of this best of 3 to decide who goes to the upper bracket final. Pronax playing close to the smoke, and this is what we love to see from him, but he sees Draken, takes him down. There's a second guy in the smoke as well. Barbar goes for the revenge track initially, so that's what we like to see, that 2-man hit squad taking the revenge track as the instant that happens. JW with a close range AWP though.
Now they're fired up here too. He's picked that one up. He's going to dive in with the knife. Oh no, he doesn't actually get it. Callie holds, but Schneider back out from the jungle. Takes down Callie, gets with the trade, and Lekro just destroys Freddy when he tries to run into it. Now it's up to Barbar, but himself quiet. He's going to wrap around the corner here. He's found Flusha. He's about half of his HP. Both are going to push up from Ticket, but he's gotten that one now. One more to go. He knows where he's at, but no, he cannot clutch it out. Schneider will shut it down, and Godsent get the advantage here in OT.
At what point would someone on the Godsent team tell JW not to knife people? How many knives does he need to not hit in order to someone to say, okay, I mean, don't do that anymore? Like, I understand 9 out of 10 times that is the correct call, but this has happened 5 or 6 times so far.
You're right about that, actually. For the most part, I was thinking to myself, yeah, like, those are pretty safe knife kills, but he's actually messed it up, like, every single time he's tried it.
in the last 6, he's got 1. the 5 others he's failed. Not that he's failed, but it's yeah. Sometimes you got to think about stuff like that.
Maybe he just needs the bonus mark.
Yeah, but this is JW. That's how he is as a player. Like, he just does that stuff. And that's also why, like, the reason that his self-confidence is almost at every point high. Because he just does stuff like that, and that gives you self-confidence.
Well, Freddy B creeping his way out through underpass. And grouping up Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's JW with another nice shot there against Freddy B, finding him. Barbar as well, grabbing Flusha out from up top, taking him down, trades it, goes down to a 4 versus 4. Now our Epsilon going to take this, though. Still leaning heavily into a B site hit from as far as we can see, but Godsent still have plenty of nades to deploy here, and they've just sent Schneider over to assist.
Schneider with the close range position, which they're not going to be looking at because they know Lekro. At least if they see Lekro and hear him rotating off to another angle, they're not going to expect a second guy being that close. Draken with the AWP trying to find an opening, but it's not happening so far. Godsent looking good in this one. Barbar on 72, Reyes on 82, and well, a couple of utility grenades still in the bag of Epsilon.
Like 30 seconds left, so they need to go for it soon.
Yeah.
And this is where the bad part of Godsent having this much utility stacked up is going to come in, because they can continue to throw these Molotovs one onto the site. It's got to be Epsilon that makes the move here soon. Yeah, Barbar working on this flank. Not only that, but Callie just got the shot in the window, and Barbar suddenly has exploded out onto this Schneider, trading it out, but he's got pressure coming onto him from up top there. Barbar takes down Schneider, eliminates him, and it goes to Pronax, who's way over on the A-bomb site. He's got a big wrap to go here. We'll see if he can have any impact, but they've got players watching out for this flank currently inside there, Strachan with the op. And if Pronax doesn't do anything to circumvent that, then he'll find himself a dead man.
So here we go, Pronax trying to make his way in. Is he going to take the chance? Well, the money is fine, so he can actually afford to go for this one. But with Draken being in that position with AWP, Draken actually misses that one. I was pretty sure that Draken had that one locked down, but now Pronax, with the attempt not going well and the first time around, he's going to save his AK, not his AK, his M4 in T-spawn and bring that into the next one.
Both rifles. It's all good.
It's all rifles.
Yeah.
No worries.
It's the equalized gun for the other side, so
yeah,
it's excusable. But Epsilon, again, still claim that one. Pronax, unfortunately, after missing that initial volley, not connecting the kill onto it, and he just can't really afford to go in for that and risk it, so he is going to fall back out of this one. And we will see the tie come in now, 16-16, as they bring it back, of course.
JW on $600 after buying. So that could potentially prove a problem in the last round of this half if Godsent lose this round as well. So let's have a look here. Pronax putting out the early smoke into the T-ramp, making sure that that doesn't happen. Schneider on an aggressive peek in apartments, and he locks down Barbar.
Looking out Barbar, and again, Epsilon very heavily weighted towards a B hit. Initially, after mid-pressure is attained, is the current path that they're kind of heading towards here. And also, having Rez already in the apartments too, hasn't pushed out, but Flusha suspects something. He's going to move in to try and inspect for this one. I haven't seen him yet. He hasn't pushed in, but he's given away the fact that he is there. He's going in along with the Molotov. That is going to send him packing back a little bit there. They waste more time, but there's JW again. Sneaking in these shots out of nowhere. Flusha wrapping back out over there on the catwalk 2, finds Draken as he actually goes down to hunt JW. Freddy with a nice one-tap, I do believe, takes down JW, but traded him yet. Schneider has found Rez, though, in the apartments, and finally, Flusha finishes the job on Freddy. Godsent pick up an additional round, 17-16, as we continue to trade.
Great round by Godsent, surviving with 4 players, and I mentioned the economy being potentially a problem, but with surviving with 4 players, that's not going to be a problem at all coming into the rest of this first half. So good for Godsent. And on the other half of the scoreboard, Epsilon looking a bit strapped right now. Not looking too strong, but then again, they could bring it back in this one.
Schneider again, as you can see there on the scoreboard, that's coming along with JW, of course. Trying to save Godsent here. A little bit yesterday, too, that he was one of the big forces trying to keep them from being eliminated there in the lower bracket. And now we see them pushing forward here. Pronax specifically already in T-ramp. He making himself a whole feast of kills. If they don't try to check that in a minute here.
So, Pronax in the correct angle, picks up the first one, a couple of more players coming in, and Pronax will do damage on the second one, but not getting the frag. The jump from Draken will not survive, and JW holds it down with the AK. Rez finally answering back.
Rez has found that kill, but he still only has one more teammate to work with. That's Barbar, and he's working on a flank currently. Nobody suspects this as they push in. Flusha, however, puts an end to that one just in the nick of time, taking him out of the equation. And for Rez,
Well, he's got firebox control, but nothing else. And touchdown from
Kobe
Flusha to knock him out of there. Nicely done. Godsent at 18 to 16 now. Epsilon, they were the ones to get it to 15 rounds. They were the ones to hold a monstrous lead to the first half. And now they're 2 rounds behind Godsent in the last round of the first half of overtime.
This is hard for Epsilon. This is hard for the players here. And that might be the difference in experience that we talked about so much on this caster desk and on the analyst desk as well, is that Godsent have this experience on high pressure situations and top level games in stuff like this. Epsilon, not really. Just Barbar. He's the only one who's been experienced in the scene for a longer amount of time. You have, like, not new players, but newer players comparing them to Flusha and Pronax and Barbar for that matter, coming in, and their experience in situations like this is not going to be as big as Godsent. And Godsent right now in the lead. JW about to shut down yet another player. This time around it's Barbar who goes down, and JW just rotating back to the safe angle.
The rest of Epsilon here again, they've stuck to their split strat in the opening seconds of the round here. And back over in mid 2, Draken has got himself into a little bit of a battle there with Flusha, but ultimately Flusha wins. He takes off about 30% of the HP away from Draken, and nothing else returned onto really anyone else here from Godsent. Pronax even moving back out there aggressively from the Palace to find Draken, finish the job, takes him down. I'm not sure if he spotted the bomb. We don't see rotations coming in yet, but that could lead still towards either way here. And we do have that position from Cali inside of the connector, which is going to be crucial if this hit comes in. But Pronax waiting in the Palace out. Freddy's going to be looking for that, but no! Freddy still cannot win the duel. The bomb now sits on the ground. They've got 2 players in the vicinity of the site, but no longer do they have bomb control. Rez and Cali both actually hit their first targets, so now Rez is going to round it back and try to retrieve that bomb, but unfortunately Cali's gone down. 24 seconds left. Rez is trying to make the best of his time, actually, playing some KZ there, jumping over the fence, but he's got to find Pronax, and Pronax is just mauling it, so that's pretty much going to kill it here. No use saving at the end of the half, of course. Rez has got it, but oh no. The second Molotov that he just thrown out now blocks his path. He's got to make a beeline for the site. But even with that, there's not going to be any time left. He'll just walk in, and this is going to be a round for Godsent. 19 to 16 is going to be the halftime score.
And as we know, the magic number is 21. So Godsent 2 rounds away, and they have 5 rounds to find those 2. So this is looking very likely for the favorites, we must say, and Godsent to take this one. Flusha, of course, once again, just topping the scoreboard casually with a 30 bomb. He's just doing consistently well here for Godsent.
So with that, now Epsilon, who have been leading in this entire map, sit up against the wall here, with not really any big performers showing up in that first half of overtime at all. Players certainly feeling the pressure here right now, and with nobody really stepping up to match the challenge. Besides, I mean, Rez has remained consistent, I feel, but besides that, unfortunately, we're just not seeing any of those guys anymore in that overtime, really bringing the power to match this against Godsent.
And also Freddy B, compared to the way that he played on Cash especially, has really fallen off in my opinion. He's on 16 to 27, which is, for a player like Freddy B, is not a good scoreline at all. He's a player who usually lies in that 2nd or 3rd position, even if he's having a bad game, so this is not very Freddy B-esque.
And we'll see Godsent start to go for their push. I mean, they're just going to go right for this now on the T side of the move. Even though Freddy B's ready for it. 1 kill, 2 kill. The second one coming from Barbar this time. Draken moving up there, and that's an absolute shutdown. 4 fast ones from Epsilon. JW will try to do what he can, but this run's over.
And here we go. JW trying to make this one happen, and as you said, just shut down completely from Epsilon, and finally making their way back into this overtime. We talked about them not being up to par in this overtime so far, and they bring it straight back in. 17 to 19 is going to be the scoreline. Trying their best. There's still hope of winning this overtime. They just have to win every single round.
JW trying to make the best of this one here now. Delaying the time. Not only is this obviously giving himself a little more room and trying to do damage to the opponent, but it's also buying extra time for his team to kind of talk about it, as you can see, wasting as much of it as he can within the Palace. But finally it runs out, and these guys will be forced into the next round here. Interesting though is that they still have like 3 overtimes, I think? They had 3 or 2 still left over, so kind of unnecessary, but if they wanted to use those, they still have them to try and bring up here.
So let's see here. 19-17. Of course, full buy from both teams, as we normally don't see any scrappy buys in this overtime when we're playing MR5. Here we do see Snyder and JW opening up, just sending it straight back after a great round from Epsilon. Godsent just says, no, this is our overtime and we are here to win.
They're held away with that smoke, though. They fall back and they're going to regroup over here at the entrance to top mid. All 3, possibly 4 of them, depending on what Lekro chooses to do here. They've only kept JW at the edge of this one to make sure nobody follows them on the CT side, but after a few seconds pass by, they are going to redeploy inside of those B halls. They're going to go for an all-in execute. Rez looking to time this nade, but I don't really think it's going to do all that much. It's tossed out way too early there. He's got the smoke to retoss into here. I don't think they'll be too fearful of that, though. The pacing of the nades doesn't necessarily make it seem like there's more than one player on the site, and Rez making a lot of noise too. They're going to go somewhere here, but nonetheless picks up the first kill. They're trying to check all these angles. They have to deal with the one player working his way, but Rez just got a double there. Hold on, they may have a chance yet. Although Lekro and Pronax are trying to make the best to stop that. Freddy B, it's come down to him in the 1v2, who's rotated in here now. The Molotov trying to deny the plant. That may work, but that smoke is stopping him from taking down Pronax. He cannot see him beyond that. He's going to be free to kind of creep over towards this corner here. Now, though, the pop flash outside, he won't go through that window itself. He's going to be heading his way out the doorway in a moment. Actually, no decision made yet. Freddy still indecisive here. 30 seconds on the clock, no plant. Finally, they'll put it on the ground here. He's only got a smoke left to get himself out here, and Lekro sits behind the box. Freddy incapable of punishing him from that position. Pronax, though, he's gone away from that corner. He had what was essentially going to be a free kill unless Freddy had really some quick reactions as he moves in. Now he spotted Lekro. That's going to call Pronax back, however, here. Freddy trying to move forward, trying to look for Lekro. Can't find him. He's checking every spot possible. The first kill found, but he's still have to deal with Pronax, and he hasn't made a sound yet. He's got no clue where he's hiding out. It hasn't even peeked still. Jumping onto the bomb there first. Pronax still has not even moved from that corner here. But finally, he gives away his position. The smoke comes in, and Freddy, he's going to jump right on this now. Pronax, one bullet is needed, however, and it will connect. He will find the closing kill, and Godsent shoot themselves up to match point.
The patience from Pronax there.
Intense.
Very intense. And he's just absolutely sure of what that CT is doing at all times. He waits around the corner, knows exactly how much time he has to play with, and he wins that round in the end. Great play by Pronax and great play by the terrorist in general, trying to get into that one bomb site. But Rez, I have to say, his performance holding this one was absolutely key. That was the only reason Epsilon had a chance of winning that round.
Nice spray indeed from Rez. And again, it opened up the possibility, but unfortunately it just does not happen. And Epsilon here, they've got to win 3 straight to be able to take this into double OT now. No more possibilities to win it here.
JW with a quick flick onto Calais, goes for that second one. Rez is very close by. Usually Rez plays in this position where he looks up towards the window, so JW is aware of that, checking the angles that he can. Smoke goes down as per usual. JW just walking through that like he doesn't even care.
Rez sitting in the back here too. He's still waiting for the hit to come in his direction here. They've lost Calais, but there's not going to be any aggressive follow-up from Godsent moving into the site yet. They're still playing it so cautiously. Draken has had his attention drawn to this one too, and he moves closer towards it, but this is all red herring right now. It's just the Opper that's made his path into it. The rest are working their way out towards top mid, and they've got Flusha prepared to push his way in through the T ramp there up to the site. You've got Barbar waiting up on top of the steps, and Freddy a little bit further back, but beyond that, there are no other defenses here besides lurking for Cat, and there's going to be Pronax. He's found the first one. Barbar stuck in the corner. The Molotov tossed in. That's doing actually a lot of damage, though. Pronax goes down to 1, and Lekro dies. And with the additional damage done to Schneider and JW, I would not call this a done deal.
No, but look at the Frank coming in from JW. I think that is coming in from behind. He might be the one to decide this round unless Rez pushes in this instant, pretty much. But he has to not fall back. He has to pretty much only go further into the side. And he gets blocked down by Flusha. Draken trying it, and he gets the double.
But he does not spin around there to watch for the flank. So JW gets the closing kill. The flank saves Godsent on that round. And it'll go 21-17 on map number 3. Godsent take it, and they move on to the upper bracket semifinals. A 2-1 set. An extremely long and exhausting set for both teams. But at the end of the day, it is the Titans, it is the Legends, it is Godsent that are victorious.
Definitely. Great performance by them in the end, forcing their way through the game, through 3 incredibly close maps, 2 of them even in overtimes. But Godsent will be the winners. They will prevail, and they will go, as most people expected before this event started, they will go into the winners final.
Yeah, and for Epsilon there, unfortunately, they're not going to be out of this tournament just yet, but now they do go down to the lower bracket, where they're going to be battling against the loser of our next match a little bit later on.
Definitely. It's going to be an interesting one coming into that one, but of course we do have Godsent prevailing, and just in general, this match has just been absolutely insane.
So in order to talk a little bit more about this insane match, of course, we're going to bring the analysts back into the discussion here.
Hey, Treacle.
What?
How you doing? Don't do that. I was foolish, I guess. 13-2 up on the final map.
I don't understand how you ever thought Epsilon were going to win that.
Yeah, easiest prediction of our lives.
Yeah.
Oh my
we were
God.
never in doubt.
We sat down here when it was 13-2 and a half.
It was 13-2 and a half.
Alex was like,
I
was legit
I got
scared.
this.
I was scared.
I would have looked very smart, and I mean, that's so hard to process for us at the desk and for you guys at the caster desk. Never mind for Epsilon, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy in the fact that I mean, I think I said it right at the first pistol round there. Is like 32. There's no way they're bringing this comeback.
No way.
Epsilon's moving through, and then they somehow do
You
it.
pull the Moses. You never say you say no. Never say no. Oh, good grief. All right, you guys have been talking a lot. We'll let you have a little break before the next one. So you go get some water and have a little nap, and we'll prepare to talk about this one. Of course, Mirage, Epsilon, from a 13-2 half in the lead, going into what looks like a guaranteed step to the winner's bracket on being one map, or rather one best of 3 away from that major qualifier spot. And they have it taken away from them by grit, determination, and a little bit of choking. Vendetta.
just a little bit.
Natu. I mean, we do start using the choke word here, right?
yeah, I mean, well, I guess we should start. Let's start with the first
Start
half.
at the
though.
start.
Let's start the first half
Like,
because
this was
we were agonizing. We were dying in green room watching this.
I'm pretty sure that T-side from Godsent took away 5 years from my life.
More than that, I feel like I'm middle-aged by now.
You kind of, you're on your way. I mean, the fact that they look so damn good. I mean, Draken.
It's like,
What?
Wow!
No
just casually wrecking me.
Draken had like an incredible half. These mid pushes, this A-hold. Even Cali was at the top of the scoreboard.
But
can we talk about how Godsent did nothing to actually...
go on then.
There's the factor that once your opponent's running into your crosshair one by one, it's a bit of a handicap for
This
them.
is the second time he does it as well, and it's the second time you see Godsent never throw a flash into mid, which is super standard. Obviously, like stuff like that, jumping UMP shots, you can't
Or
really
the
count
knife.
that.
This was stupid.
Yeah, this is just very unfortunate timing for Schneider, and that happened quite a bit. You saw it actually one of the rounds that
Epsilon they won this round though.
Yeah, they ended up winning this this round, but eventually you saw the round where JW checks CPL. Like unfortunate timing, gets caught out by Draken, and that spins out of control. So Epsilon ends up winning one of their few T rounds that way on an eco. So yeah, sure. Like there were some unfortunate moments for Godsent, but by God, that was a terrible T side.
Steer away from Mirage, boys. Steer away.
I feel like we set the scene as Godsent are, one of the teams that can compete with the very best on Mirage, and then their T-side fell apart.
Again, it's like that Jekyll and Hyde thing. It's not just JW, and we definitely saw him have some weird moments, like when he's standing by jungle and just decides to go full, I don't know, Rambo mode. Brings out the knife, runs into smoke and a molly.
This was that transfer.
Dies. Yeah. So many terrible moments in this game.
Terrible. God, how was tilted, boys?
I think we all are.
You don't see that.
I mean, you're tilted because of what Epsilon did, and we're just tilted because of the quality of the game.
Yeah, no, that was not
like
pretty.
overall.
Yeah. So to clarify, if you just tuned in, or you missed the first map, or perhaps even the second, we had a 16-14. We had an overtime second map. We had an overtime third map. And all round, it was one team holding a lead and having it taken away from them. I mean, like, Epsilon looked like they were losing out on cash, then managed to forge a comeback. Epsilon looked like they're closing out Mirage, then managed to lose the comeback. And not only is it a psychological battle, it's exhausting.
In a sense, you can cut some slack to Epsilon. I'm more worried about Godsent. I mean, Epsilon, first of all, I think we've all established that we were not expecting them to go far, and that they put themselves in situations where they can win, right?
Yeah.
But it just comes down to the fact that they are plugging it a little bit. They've lost a player just recently, so it is a very, very hard situation for them. So they're going to be bound to be struggling on that T side.
Yeah. Well, initially I actually thought they played their T side better, even though it didn't result in rounds.
There was an idea there,
Godsent, because Godsent did have a pretty good CT side, all things considered, right? But again, I felt like Epsilon brought more to the table on their T side.
It was one of those T sides where you thought going in a lot of the rounds that the way they were playing out that eventually Epsilon would get it.
It was a matter of time.
Exactly.
It was a matter of time. Well, I do want to bring up the scoreboard just quickly before. I think I know Dan has grabbed a player, so I don't want them standing around for too long. But you can see that there was just an abundance of frags. When you go OT, as you expect, and this time no real underperformance from either side.
I think we have to point that out, given how we talked about after Cash, the fact that Fronex was non-existent and didn't have too much to say on Train either.
Or in Bucharest.
Or for that matter in the first half. On the CT side, when he started playing aggressively in apartments and so on, he really caused havoc with Epsilon, and he just got progressively better and better to the point where I think just during OT he was the one from Godsent who was actually fragging the most.
Well, and do take note that, again, this is the third time we've had Flusher match MVP. He has been coming up time after time, and you guys said in the green room that is the one of the few that's performing at the level we would have expect of that name and of that history.
I think we said it in the pre-show as well on day one, the fact that the only guy who hasn't dipped in performance, who hasn't gone from being, the same level that he was in Fnatic, that's Flusher.
I also raised the question, what the heck have these guys been doing during their bootcamp? They literally just bootcamped.
And if we're going to get an interview with one of the Godsent guys, that
it looks like that's
that's about to happen. I'm curious to hear some answers here, because we've got a lot of questions.
Yes, we do. Well, you know who else has got a lot of questions? It's none other than Diana, who's hanging out with JW. We're going to get some answers right here, right now with him.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, it's me again, and I am here with JW. And for this event, I have cue cards, so let's hope that everything goes well. So the first question is, let's start at the beginning. The analysts were very surprised about how Epsilon let Train pass for the veto because it's one of your strongest maps. Were you ever worried that you're going to lose your own map pick?
Of course we were worried, because every match, we like the first game of the day, we don't play together, and we play very stressful, and we don't hit our shots. So of course we were a bit scared, but since it was our own map pick, I think that made us win anyways. But it was very close, and you can never expect a free win, because everyone is so good at Counter-Strike, and everyone plays FPL and mixes and gathers all the time, so they know how to play every map individually. So we were scared, but we were confident as well.
Confidence is key, especially in the last map when you had to recover such a lot of rounds. Tell me, what happened? How did you psych yourself up? And what players were instrumental in your recovery?
We messed up some very, very crucial rounds on Cash. So when we went into Mirage, it felt like we shouldn't even have lost Cash to begin with. So I don't know, we were just tilted, and we didn't really feel the game. It felt like we just wanted to get out of here pretty much. And then as CT, we just took one round by round, and a player that stood out, I would guess, is Flusher. In my opinion, the best player in the whole world, but I might be a bit biased. It's always good to have him in your team during every game, because you know that he can win every round by himself. So I would say I would give it to him.
And now let's talk a little bit about Lecro and the swap that you had just very recently. How did losing Crims affect your strategies, and how are you playing with Lecro?
Losing Crims didn't really affect our strategies. I would say maybe it affected us in a good way, because obviously our results weren't good. He didn't he didn't just fit in, and you can't really force a player to be in a team that he don't want to be in. It doesn't really work that way. So we understood him, and as a friend, I understand him and respect his decision. So all I could do and we could do was to make it possible for him, because that's the least we can do. At least he gave this a shot together with us. It didn't work out, and it's everyone's fault. But Lecro is coming in with, he haven't really played on the top yet, so he's coming in with the energy that we might be lacking a little bit, because we have been winning majors, we have been playing the biggest tournaments, and he wants to reach there. So he's helping out a lot with the energy, I would say. And Crims is an amazing player, and I know he will do great in Fnatic. So it just didn't click, and that's what can happen when you decide a lineup before you actually try playing. We just picked the players on paper, and it looked very good to us, but obviously it didn't work out.
Okay, well, what we can learn from that is that you can't force chemistry, but energy is good. And speaking of energy, now we caught you on the player cam dancing to some of your favorite music right before the game started. So tell me, what is that music? What kind of music do you like to get you motivated?
I don't remember what music exactly it was, but before the games I watched like frag movies. And this time I think it was one frag movie with Kenny S and one with Shocks. So I don't know what music it was, but it was damn good.
Well, with Kenny X and Shocks and music, you really can't go wrong. Well, thank you very much, JW. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now it's back to the desk.
An absolutely brilliant interview from Diana and JW.
Actually, it was a damn good interview.
That was bloody brilliant. We learned a lot. That was the most British I've ever sounded, by the way. Bloody brilliant. Cup of tea, governor.
Top of the morning.
Oh, golly gosh. But that genuinely sheds so much light on the move, JW's pre-match rituals. We've learned an awful lot. And, I mean, I think primarily the biggest takeaway from that was Crims and the Crims discussion, right? It seemed like we didn't quite know the logistics of it all, but it was Crims who was just unhappy with the Godsent structure. Natty.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that happens sometimes. I mean, it kind of sounds funny in a sense where most of these guys have been playing together
for
previously
like
and being very successful. But at the same token, it just happens sometimes when you just don't click, things are just not getting in the right direction. And if you get into the kind of take the wrong path, I guess you could say, it's really hard to recover from that, and then it becomes kind of mental lock, and then eventually might be end up in a situation where there's no other choice than just make a switch.
I mean, the words out of JW's mouth that I think resonated most with myself was that you can't always just create a team on paper without playing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, of course, paraphrasing, but I think that definitely does seem to sound right, actually, with the Godsent move.
Absolutely, and that's oftentimes why.
A note for HLTV users, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why lineups on paper doesn't necessarily always make out to be the best ones in action. But if you want to give credit to them, it's good to see that they actually realize it really quickly instead of trying to force an issue that's never going to actually pan out. So the fact that they realize that does, that makes them self-aware, which is something that, not necessarily we thought they were delusional or anything, but we have been questioning whether or not they're actually, if they have the right mindset moving into this, if they're coming into this tournament expecting just to get basically a free qualification spot for the offline qualifier. But seemingly that's not the case, and that's obviously good.
Not the case at all. I mean, it does seem kind of funny, actually, when you reflect upon it, that Godsent have managed to get through this, still through the winner's bracket, with so many flaws, and yet they seem to be do you think they're self-aware, Natu, of these flaws? I mean,
I think the next thing on the to-do list is to have more strategies you can fall back to. Because, I mean, they have the free-flowy style. We've definitely, I think we've established that much. But then if people are not feeling it, if they're not on the right flow, then you need to have those executes you can fall back to every single time, because that's a catalyst that can really bring you back into a game. And because it's just rinse and repeat just doesn't always work. It is just how it is.
Yeah.
And of course, the final takeaway from JW was that Flusher is the best player in the world, according to him. Acknowledging
no bias.
No bias.
Zero bias at all. None of that. All right. I think we'll leave it there for our first best of three of our second day here for the European Minor, brought to you by PGL. We're going to be bringing you a little bit of a break, but when we do come back, we get to see Space Soldiers back in action after gliding through in 2 best-of-1 wins, this time clashing with Hellraisers, who had to work a little harder to get where they currently stand. It'll be another best of three coming up after a break.
Hold up.